Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Landedkiller show. Today, we're going to be doing a premium ship review on HMS Dreadnought. This is a revolutionary warship in the history of warships. This is the OG battleship. This is the OG Dreadnought. HMS Dreadnought. This is the only battleship to ever sink a submarine by direct ramming. This was a design that changed the future of naval warfare overall. One of the key features of this design was the fact that there was a focus on a conventional arrangement of main battery armament, so it could fire from all different directions. So to really differentiate between these two ships, we're going to take a look at an example of a pre-dread. So the only pre-dreadnought in the game, we have Mikasa, right? See that Mikasa heavily focused on secondaries versus the main battery guns. When you look at Dreadnought, it focuses more on main battery guns and less on secondary battery guns. Its guns are designed in a way where it can fire from all different angles. This design changed the future of naval warfare for good. No ships would go back to ever looking like that ever again. So let's review this historical ship which revolutionized naval design. So we're going to start with our armor layout. So you can see that HMS Dreadnought has a 16mm section right here. I'm going to change this so we can actually see the armor belt. Alright, so you can see that we have a section right here of 16mm. The top is 16. We have a 152mm armor belt here, 16mm armor belt here, and then let's take a look at our turrets. You can see that they're 241 on the barbette, 279mm on the front, 279 on the side, and then we have barbette hatch, which is 51mm. The top of the turret is 76mm. We have superstructure plating all around, which is at 10mm, so HE shells will easily get in here. And then it looks like we have two conning towers, one with 279 and a top of 51, and another one back here that is 203 and 51 at the top as well. Okay, our deck is 19mm, so HE shells will probably eat you up a little bit. Keep that in mind. Aft end is 16mm. We have a section of 102mm armor belt here and here. And our bottom is 25mm right here. 25mm here. 25mm on the Citadel bottom. Side plating 19mm. 279 armor belt here. 203 armor belt here. And we have a side section of barbette at 279mm, which is replicated on this side as well. Side is 16mm here. So let's take off all this armor and let's look at the core armor on this ship. See that we have two decks on this ship. So we take off the first deck and we get down to the second deck, 19mm. Our barbettes, 203 at the middle, 241 at the front. So this is the other one with 203. Then we finally get to the bottom of the ship, so that our bottom barbette is 190 here, 102 here, 203 here. Our deck is 45mm all the way across, with a small section of 76mm toward the turret back over here. So the armor model of the ship is really unique. I haven't seen an armor model like this. So let's take a good look at it. So we have a Citadel warship of 102. We have a section of 25mm here. Citadel torpedo bulkhead at 51mm. Citadel warship right here, 19mm. Citadel warship here, 19mm. Front Citadel, the farthest front, is 25mm. Citadel torpedo bulkhead is 25mm. We can see that this Citadel torpedo bulkhead is 102 millimeters, which is nice. A section of 51 millimeters here, and this section is 25 millimeters here. Then we get to the back, we have 19 millimeter sections again, 25 millimeters at the back citadel with warship, 51 here, 25 here. So the best chance of taking out HMS Dreadnought is to aim right in the center line here. Our citadel is just at the water line here, so you're gonna have to watch where you position. So let's get on into our other stats here of this historic ship, shall we? Survivability is 37,400. Pretty decent for your tier 3 ship. For battleship. Torpedo damage reduction, 13%. Artillery, 5x2, 305mm guns. Reload time of 30 seconds, 180 degree time, 60 degrees. Not surprising, it's a tier 3. Our high explosive armor shell penetration capacity, 76 millimeters. Maximum high explosive shell damage, 5,200. Maximum armor piercing shell damage, 8,100. Maximum range, 13.7 kilometers on the main battery. Velocity, 831 meters per second on AP and high explosive. Secondary armament, 17x1, 76 millimeters. Nothing to write home about. These are pretty puny for a battleship, but then again, all battleships under tier 5 typically don't have the best secondaries. Its firing range of 13.7 kilometers, definitely something to keep an eye on. It's going to take a little bit of time to get into action. Maneuverability of ship is 21 knots. Turn circle radius is 520 meters. Rudder shift time is 11.6 seconds. Concealment is going to range, your average is 11.9 kilometers. In different scenarios, you range from 9.4 to 13.9, depending on if the ship is firing a shell or in smoke, or just firing a gun shell. Detectability range by submarine, 0 to 7.0 kilometers. At this time, we do not have any submarines below tier 6. I'm not sure if that will change in the future, but keep that in mind. It could change. Detectability range by air, 7.0 kilometers. Goes up to 10.0 if it's on fire, or 13.1 when firing a main battery gun shell. Sure detectability range 2.0. When you're firing a gun shell normal, 9.4 kilometers. Man, that was a mouthful to say, I will say. Take a look here. For skills, I have emergency repair specialist, priority target, and then next I would go adrenaline rush, and then emergency repair expert or furious. Furious you can make the argument for because you have a lot of high explosive shells firing at you, but I'd probably go emergency repair expert first to get the extra charge on the heal. Then of course, greasy gears, you probably want to get that as well at some point. Of course, you probably want gun feeder at some point as well. Focus on the strengths of the ship. That's what I would say, which are the main battery guns, having a good number of them. So for equipment, I have damage control system modification 1 and main armaments modification 1. Armor piercing shells I have and high explosive shells I have. Our repair party, pretty standard for a tier 3 battleship. Reload time is 77.6 seconds, 28-second consumable action time. Damage control party, consumable. Reloads in 77.6 seconds, action time 15 seconds. Like I said, damage control system modification 1, main armaments modification 1. There's really no reason to take engine room protection. There's really no reason to take anything else besides magazine modification 1. Damage control modification 1, not really worth it on a tier 3 ship. Okay, we're going to take this historic warship into battle. Oh, before we go any further, again, I want to mention that this ship is historical for being a revolutionary design. And the price you're looking to get the ship at is $15.20 in the premium shop, or $3,800 doubloons. That's important to note. It's slightly a little higher priced on a tier 3 premium, but it has historical significance. So if you ever find yourself in a position to get this ship and you like history, then I would get it. It's a fun ship to pull into co-op battles occasionally. Strengths being those guns, of course. Here we go. Onward we go. Into battle. All right, here we go.
Action stations.
This camo I have on the ship is a rare camo which comes around occasionally in containers like Distant Voyages. I think the first time you got this camo was some sort of mission chain, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that in the comments. But I remember getting this camo out of a Distant Voyages container, which weren't a good deal at the time, I will add. Got my high explosive shells loaded because at this tier that's the primary armament use. You don't really use armor piercing unless you're really up close. Here we go. Like I said, your range is limited, so you really want to get into range good. Fire off those shells. Alright, here we go. Ship's getting close to me. Is it a bot? Yeah, it's a bot, of course. Many of these bots have no sense of direction when they're coming at you.
Torpedoes dead ahead.
Torpedoes. See if we can get a good shot in on this far rung. I think that's how you say it, is far rung. Okay, that hit.
Enemy battleship detected.
Keep in mind where you're firing your guns. Keep that in mind. Your targets are important at this tier. Because if those submarines aren't taken out, it's not good for you. They can cause a lot of damage. It's World of Warships 101. Watch out for torpedoes. Keep your distance from submarines and from destroyers. Submarines are a thing that's in progress right now. Still got to work on them some more. They're not finalized, so keep that in mind when you're facing submarines in battle at the other tiers. At this point in time, there is no submarines below tier 6. If that changes in the future, I'll be sure to let you know. But I doubt it will happen. That'd be really weird because you have no anti-submarine armament in this ship. But for this ship, the strength are the gun armament, which is all around. It's decent armor. It's another key aspect of the ship. Keep in mind that things are going to move a little faster at tier 3 compared to the... Well, they're going to move faster as in, like, the ships move a little faster at this tier for the destroyers and cruisers. You can't quite keep up to them in your battleship this tier, so keep that in mind. Higher tiers, it's a little easier. Things are more simple down at this tier. Aim your shots well. Fire off your high explosive shells at anything that's a destroyer. Armor piercing at anything that's a cruiser or above, for the most part. Find that one of your biggest things you're going to have to pay attention to at tier 3 specifically is when to turn on your damage control party. You're going to have a lot of HE shells slung at you. Really just important to aim your shots well on this ship, because you'll see that a lot of people will YOLO with their destroyers at this tier. I'm not even kidding. I've seen it happen many times. Even the bots do it. When you get a destroyer like this, you gotta just be ready to crank that ship and get away. And be ready to turn away. I don't really have that option because I'm near this island. So I'm just trying to fight this ship the best I can, you know? I really think that high explosive should be the shell type used more often at tier 3. Just because the destroyer's YOLOing at you. Like I said, your main strengths are going to be your gun arrangement and your armor. Your armor's pretty decent. Keep that in mind. And yes, it is higher priced compared to other premium ships at this tier. Keep that in mind as well.
We destroyed an enemy cruiser.
Try changing over to armor piercing here real quick. Hopefully the mercy roll doesn't take effect. Not near the cap points for it yet. Only 2 other human players. It's to be expected. Just really gotta learn. This is the tier which you start learning the basic mechanics of the game. You're gonna face CVs occasionally as well. Keep that in mind. You don't have like really any AA defense. So keep that in mind as well. You really just want to choose your shots wisely. If there's a CV, play more defensively. You probably want to stick it probably mid-range with this ship as well. Mid to long range for this ship. I really want to get close like this when you're down to maybe 1 or 2 enemies like we are now. Keep that in mind. And if your team is telling you, hey, don't YOLO rush, just listen to them. They're right. You don't want to YOLO rush unless you're the last. Unless you're like 1 or 2 enemies left and you got a whole bunch of teammates still alive like this. You know? This ship is an historic ship, and I think it would be desirable to have in anybody's port. You really just got to pay attention to history and you'll learn some interesting things about the ship. The fact that it's the only ship to ever ram a submarine is interesting. I don't think we'll see the earlier U-boats make an appearance in the game, but if we do, I wouldn't be surprised. I really want to see more pre-dreads in this game. This is obviously Dreadnought. This is not a pre-dread. This is the first Dreadnought. This is why warships after this period are sometimes called Dreadnoughts, because of this ship. Its unique and revolutionary design. So its gun arrangement and its focus on main battery rather than secondaries. This is a good ship for anybody's port, I would say. Ship's still alive.
Fire.
Yawn.
Enemy battleship sunk.
I don't think I would make it over there in time. You want to hit on your damage control party when you just have 1 fire. That's an important skill you got to learn. Only hit your damage control party if you have 2 or more fires or you're really just low on health. And really just aim your shots well. That's important in this game. Your guns aren't always going to be that accurate, you know? Because it's tier 3. But once you get up to those higher tiers, you'll start noticing your gun accuracy slowly improving. It's by design. Alright, let's see what our results were in this historic ship. Not bad. We sunk four ships, got some secondary hits, captured a base, and we got 4,904 damage for tier 3, which is pretty good. We earned a decent amount of credits too. So let's see here. I placed second on my team here. The Wiki's got a higher score than me, because he capped a little bit. Let's look at a detailed report here. We got damage on several ships. Oopsies, I must have... probably a ram. He's okay. We did the most damage to Nassau here, a little bit to Kolberg, a little bit to enemy wikis. Erfang, Charleston, and Dreadnought. XP, so your normal XP earnings are probably going to be around 41,449. The amount of damage I got a little bit more credits because of my modifiers I have. 64,795 credits. But this is a ship for anybody's port. I would consider adding it to your port if you like history. It's a good ship. There's a lot of history with it. Sadly, it did not survive to the modern day. I wish it had, but what can you do? So, again, this ship is available for $15.20 in the premium shop, or for 3,800 doubloons on the armory. It's not available for coal or anything or any other currencies. So again, I'm going to end this video by saying please support Team C's. It's a good and worthy cause. It just breaks my heart sometimes not seeing anybody else take up the cause. We literally play a game where we're riding the seas, and yet nobody wants to make any other videos on Team C's but me. It's just sad. Hopefully, other World of Warships YouTubers will take up the call and they'll make videos on Team C's. Every dollar donated, it can be crypto too, removes a pound of trash from the oceans. You'll find me saying something about it in every video as long as I don't forget. So support that cause. Link will be in the description. And don't forget to like, watch, and subscribe for future videos. I appreciate all your support, and I'm always looking for feedback in the comments. I'm looking at the comments section daily. So feel free to leave your comments down below, and I'll be sure to read them and get back to you. Take care. See you on the next one.